I woke up in a haze, blazing light shining in my face. My brain a blast of color, jumbled thoughts bouncing in a foggy smother. Moaning, I carefully sat up high, a square white room greeting my eye. Hello there, friend. How do you do? Turning, I grunted. Who are you? A white machination stood before me, hovering above the floor a few feet. He wore a blue suit with a touch of red in his pocket to boot, as if a corporate flamingo had blessed the suit. You may call me Mentor 3. Tell me, friend, how do you feel? I tried looking back through my mind. I jumped because there was nothing I could find. My memory's a strangely vacant place, like a long dead star, leaving only empty space. Don't worry, it will go. You certainly won't be the last. Mentor 3 adopted a, solemn stare. I said, are you okay? Oh, yes, sorry. Just thinking about how my small talk module got cross-wired with my physics database. Last week, I kept asking the stars about their weekend plans. What? Let me show you the society. Okay, I nodded, but first, please answer me. Who am I? Maintenance worker 27601. Huh, I said. I was hoping it would be more glamorous. Mentor 3 chuckled, helping me gently off the chair. Then he opened the doors, letting in outside air. I mean, I assume he's male, robot male, whatever the hell that means. Walking outside, we came to a great circle. People talking, stalls with shopping, minds in a gurgle. Other people exited around me with their own mentor bots. And amidst the crowd, a jumble of black robots. Far in the distance, a great tower spiraled into the sky. Radiant in the sun, it reached through the clouds up high. Mentor 3, why do you wear a suit and other mentor bots do not? Isn't it obvious? I am fashionable and they are not. I grunted. On the circle's outskirts, I spotted a woman with a hat. I felt an overwhelming urge to chat. Perhaps she'd know what was going on. I could learn more about what was gone. I walked up, sitting down on a chair. From where the questions came, I knew not where. They simply seemed like the right things to share. Why are we here? What does it mean to live a meaningful life? Why be at all?
Why are we here? What else, my friend, but loads of beer?
She took off her hat and filled it high. Drinking loads, she burped and let out a sigh.
What does it mean to live a meaningful life? Why, to enjoy it, of course. The world's filled with enough strife. Some say we exist to grow our virtues. Rubbish. The only virtues I know are coke, crack, and quaaludes.
With that, she ran off to the nearest stall, probably to espouse the exact same call. What in the flying fuck was that? I heard Mentor 3 chuckling behind me. There's no way I get paid enough for this shit. What is this place? This, my friend, is the Relevance Exchange. The circle fills with people of all sorts, each one arguing why their relevance is the least arranged. Relevance for what? Look, now I've aimed your attention high. But the reality is it could be on anything. The great quest of life is questioning where to I. If we tried to process everything, we'd explode from choosing where to look. So behind each of our choices rests an unconscious value hierarchy guiding our hooks. It could be on training our voices, perhaps shooting life with efficiency's beam, or taking a mix of many relevance wares. The ultimate question is, what reigns supreme? What guiding light leads up the golden stairs? Some used to call it God, purpose, others love. But now society has a special name for it. RENNA. Suddenly, the entire circle exploded in colored light, fireworks dancing in the clouds, a magical flight. In the circle's center emerged the most beautiful woman I had ever seen. Granted, I hadn't seen much. She wore a dress half blue, half red, resplendent, giving a gem-like gleam. The black robots from before amassed around her in strange ways. Some moving clockwise, others simply stayed. Her eyes gave a wide sweep of the transfixing crowd. She smiled wide, her voice echoing loud. My children, I come today with something I hope will soothe. After more than 70 years of searching, we are just hours away from the relevance truth. We can finally stop all our yearning. With this, I saw her eyes betrayed a momentary tire. Oddly, her dress seemed to glitch between red and blue. Just as quickly, she returned to inspire. In a few hours' time, your memories will be renewed anew. So celebrate! Don't spend these last moments blue. Fountain of applause arose from the crowd, yet one voice still came through, echoing loud. I don't want my memories wiped again, Before any more could be said, one of the black robots dragged him off, to the very same building we had started off. The crowd kept cheering as if nothing had occurred. Apparently, I was alone in finding the situation absurd. Until I looked at Mentor 3, he seemed as in dismay as me. Suddenly, a flash in my mind of a woman I swear I knew. She smiled at me. Oh, that smile could drive away any blue. But with a strange certainty, I felt she was no longer alive. I couldn't shake the feeling it was because of me she died, ripping, tearing me up inside. Coming back to my senses, I looked back up, only to find RENNA staring at me. I gulped. What could she want with me? I was just maintenance worker 27601. Leave me be. Mentor 3 tugged at my arm, and swiftly we left. We walked through the streets farther into the city, sticking to the alleyways like shadow kitties. Again and again, Mentor 3 looked back, made me replace my clothes, and ruffled my hair. A new identity crafted with mechanical care. Finally, we came to a rest and could speak ear to ear. I looked at Mentor 3. My memories were wiped away, I fear. I saw a woman from before, though for the life of me, I couldn't remember her name. Have you ever lost sight of one you loved and put on you the blame? I blushed, realizing the intimacy of such a question. But Mentor 3 didn't dismiss it, simply looked thoughtful and then mentioned, Don't tell anyone else about that. Except me. RENNA can sense like a bat and is as subtle as tea. Perhaps visiting more of the city will bring back more memories of this woman you see. Who is RENNA? Perhaps the better question is, who was she? She was a quantum computer, the very best, capable of processing things as small as quantum particles probability tense, or as big as black holes slow radiation into their cosmic rest. She can see everything, nothing is left to chance, all in pursuit of the great relevance test. What does it mean to live a meaningful life? Why are we here? Why be at all? She asked the same questions you did earlier before her fall. And what questions does she ask now? Mentor 3 remained silent. You're not like the other mentor robots. I saw more back in the circle. Mentor 3 nodded his head and led me outside. We'll be safe here as long as we stick together. I gave him a concerned look. Must be the local Wi-Fi. Amazing how an omniscient AI can never seem to get that right. Anyways, welcome to the Eastern Sector. Plants, ferns, bushes galore sat next to buildings and stores. Nature and humans conjoined in one spot, and close to me, a man stood in front of a gigantic rock. I hoped he'd have some answers for me. Walking up to him, I asked some questions. Once again, those three. What does it mean to live a meaningful life? Why are we here? Why be at all? The man stood for a few talks of a clock. What does it look like? I'm trying to phase through this rock. And how the hell do you suppose you'll do that? Trust, my friend. Don't overthink. The way will show the path through the chinks. But it's a rock. And yet, think about all the rocks people create for their souls. When they make imaginary obstacles against their goals, then try to control too much of what they cannot, instead of flowing with life, not resisting what's not. Now, which do you think is the easier rock? Listen, that's wise and all, really, but it's still a rock. With that, the man whooped and ran straight into it. Oh, fuck! My nose! My bloody nose! Jesus Christ. He must not have believed enough. It's all in the mind, after all. I turned to face a woman on a nearby bridge, standing tall. Is it all in the mind, though? How could it not? I think, therefore I am, is it not so? And yet, suffering still is. The man continued to complain about his bloody nose. We aren't the only minds that exist. But how do I know you're real? How do I know you're real? Exactly! Wait, who said that? Listen, reality is that which continues to exist even when you stop believing in it. And do you believe that? Yes. Ha! So you do believe in something. Oh, for fuck's sake. Look, I could jump off this bridge, and if I just believe hard enough, I'll survive. Please, please don't do something The woman jumped off, and I heard her blood-curdling screams all the way to the bottom, followed by a nasty splat. I turned to see a sitting man with a bowl of rice in his hands. Clothing bare, he seemed quite wise, so I asked him his thoughts on the woman's demise. Oh, tragic end, but I can understand. Life is suffering, and desire is the root of suffering. So if you can eliminate desire, then you'll live without strife. But, sir, aren't desires what give us life? Desire feeds desire in a great cosmic loop. The only way to escape is to jump off the hoop. One can want without falling for desire's trap. We call it preference, a want that doesn't require. You achieve the thing or spend the rest of your life in mire. For you see, nothing lasts. All phenomena are empty. They always pass. To cling to impermanence is to be permanently sad. That's why the middle path between extremes is best. To prefer things were one way, while being okay with less. Before the Buddhist could finish his thought, a man in robes stepped forth, properly wrought. Don't listen to this Buddhist nonsense. Harmony comes not from releasing desire, but knowing one's place in life's growing spire. A son to his father, subject to king. Each role has duties that relevance brings. But, sir, I replied with growing concern, what if the king were unable to learn? Say, for questioning's sake, RENNA was doing bad. Would not then the subject have a right to rebel? Staying in one's place would be a hard thing to sell. Society needs structure. All structure is illusion. Your sitting posture is incorrect. Your attachment to my posture is causing you suffering. Are you two going to do this all day? Suddenly, RENNA's black robots flooded the square like spilled ink, their eyes scanning, making philosophers shrink. The Buddhist kept eating his bowl of rice. Attachment to escape will only cause you... Before he could finish, a robot grabbed his bowl, scanning its contents with mechanical soul. Attention, citizens. Unauthorized questioning detected. All present will be scanned and memories collected. Mentor 3 grabbed my arm. Quick, this way. Through twisted alleys we ran where shadows play. A memory flashed. I'd done this before one night, running with others through these very same sites. Halfway down, Mentor 3 stumbled, systems fritzing. I'm fine, keep moving, he said, joints glitching. Behind us came the sound of metal feet. As robot guards moved in formation neat, we ducked behind a dumpster just in time as searchlights swept the walls in perfect line. The maintenance tunnels. That's where we need to go. He tried to stand, but his servers whined. I caught him as he fell behind. Leave me, he sparked. I'll only slow you down. But something in me wouldn't let him drown. Together, I said, lifting him with care. As robot scanners hummed through darkened air, we stumbled toward the tunnel's rusted gate, my heart a hammer, wondering if it was too late. When Mentor 3 seized up, completely froze, just as robot shadows rose. Rebooting flashed across his face. I dragged him to the hatch, muscles screaming tight. As laser sights cut circles through the night, we slipped below just as the robots passed, their heavy footsteps thundering overhead at last. Through darkness now we blindly crept, while Mentor 3's condition kept. At last, we emerged into radiant light. Mentor 3 sparked, then straightened high, though something in his voice still shook as he gestured with a trembling look. Welcome to where they analyze it all. All around us, art and science abound, red, white, blue, turquoise, brown. Monuments, paintings, hoverboards, star observatories pointing north. But something was off. On some of the paintings sat chalked mathematical proofs, purposeful tainting, and some of the technologies splashed great amounts of paint running free. The then distant tower was closer now, only a few miles from us in space, and plastered on its walls, pictures of my face. My stomach churned tight as Mentor 3 pulled us from the city's sight. Don't look so dreary. The good news, we definitely got in our daily step count. There's things you're not saying, like why those robots were chasing, or why you seem to be breaking, or why so many people's beliefs are unshaking. The truth burns heavy in my circuit still. A truth I don't think you're ready to bear. But I can give this. The people you've seen all have their own way of making relevance. It's meant to help RENNA find the one most true. The hope is the conversations will give something prevalence. It feels to me, however, the people are becoming more and more brute. They're sifting their relevance less and less towards the truth. I fear RENNA, in her pursuit of that truth, is altering their memories, to be more and more stuck in their one way of relevance seeking. That's what makes me different, is it not? I seem able to shift while others remain stuck in knots. I think she sensed it back while giving her speech. Mentor 3 nodded. You know, it's funny. At the beginning, when I heard other perspectives, I was simply confused. But the more that I've questioned, the more I've seen the small bits of truth each of the perspectives can glean. Honestly, it's kind of fun. Although I didn't appreciate having to run, I'm beginning to think there's something off about RENNA. Mentor 3 remained silent as from a nearby maintenance cart he withdrew a spray paint can. No. is the only way. How the bloody hell is that going to keep me from getting caught? Hold still for 1 sec. There. Nobody would ever suspect a ginger capable of revolting. You're enjoying this, aren't you? Greatly. I'm never letting you down for this. Mentor 3 chuckled, and together we stepped back into the bright. A child played near, looking towards horizon's light. What's outside of the city, mother? A black robot walked by. The mother quickly hushed her son. That's right. It's very yellow, the sun. She forcibly laughed. A great huge line was forming long. Where are they going? I asked Mentor 3. I have a feeling it's to reset their memories. I shivered. Had it been that much time already? I took deep breaths, needed to remain steady. Stepping forward, I met the eyes of one man. He was praying with skyward hands. Once again feeling a great yearning, I asked him the questions I'd asked at each part of our journeying. Excuse me, sir. Why are we here? What does it mean to live a meaningful life? Why be at all? To all 3 praying to Zolnar, of course. He's told me at the end of this line sits divinely rewards of all kind. Zolnar? The one true god who rides a moose and bans his followers from drinking juice. His sacred law, hop twice each day while juggling eggs the Zolnar way. Each Friday, wear a pasta crown and paint your belly button brown. Huh. And what happens if you don't believe he exists? A kitten somewhere gets really pissed. But where's the evidence? How do I know it's true? You just need faith, brother. So, the reason I'm failing to believe he exists is because I don't believe he exists. Yes, now you've got it. A man next to us in line turned around. Don't listen to him, friend. I'm afraid they're unwilling to bend. When faith is your reasoning and not evidence, that's why science is best. The whole world is ready to test, using empiricism and rationality as our shining lights to the galaxy's stars. The great astrophysicist Carl Sagan watches from above, blessing us with his cosmic love. Astrophysics? Who gives a bloody bollocks about astrophysics? Biology's best. If you only knew psychology, you'd put this war to rest. No chemistry, you little fucks. I continued watching the scientists fight when 2 new voices started their own fight. Through art we'll find our inner light. Self-expression sets our spirits right. Please, your paintings can't fix climate change. Humans are idiots. We need technology to fix our ways. Look at you. You look like you haven't eaten in 3 days. Tell me, does it have anything to do with how art pays? I don't eat on purpose. Only suffering humans can paint true. I'll prove it now by eating paint to show you a real artist's pain. My smart fridge says that's bad for your health. A fridge can't know my inner wealth. Are they always like this here? No. I want to show you something near. As we walked out, I noticed a man walking with a bowl of rice in hand. The Buddha! I bumped my arm against his. You sure attachment to that rice won't do you in? He laughed hearty and true, then asked, to what pleasure do I owe this greeting to? It's me, the maintenance worker you saw in the eastern sector. Now that I would definitely remember. A chill went through my heart. Oh, I have to go. May you have a great rest of your day. We made our way closer to the distant tower. I walked, shoulders slumped, wearing a constant glower. Have you come closer to the answers of those questions you ask? To be honest, it's been quite the task. Seeing all the beliefs there can be has made me question whether anyone's for me. Seems like once I think I've found the relevance answer, another one comes in and makes me question, moving back and forth like some dancer. Tell me about it. What's wrong? I'm just sad. In an hour's time, no one will be able to make the same journey as mine. All memories wiped, no questioning to hear. Mentor 3 nodded in solemn, then an odd emotion on his face. Fear. In the horizon, ocean across, stretched a ruined city covered in moss. Rusted, forgotten, it sat alone. Terrible chill went down my bones. The old world. A holographic image came from his head, showing images which filled me with dread. Please do not feed the algorithms here, old signs worn with digital fear. Where golf greens grew, now mutants sprout, and toxic grass glows roundabout. Gamer chairs the homeless claim as their spot. A Jesus Christ statue with a leaf painted over his crotch. What happened here? This was the world we lived in before RENNA came. Nobody really knows what did them in the end. Social media, religious wars, nuclear warfare, climate change. It was their faulty relevance we could not mend. So the world's best scientists built something to parse all space and time, to sift through data's vast eternal sea, to weigh each thought, each feeling, each sense, and tell us what we're truly meant to be. The relevance movement. But here's the twist that sealed our species' fate. How does one teach a goddess what matters true? What goals to set, what purpose to create, when we ourselves have not the slightest clue? So, RENNA was assigned one simple quest. Find the relevance in the cosmic dance. But lost within this paradox's test, she gave each human its own relevance stance. To keep this search eternal, unconfined, she made them deathless, trapped in timeless youth. And should they dare resist, she wipes each mind, convinced that she alone can find the truth. For the first few years, they had a tranquil start, until one person made a resistance form. They almost made it to the tower's spark, but against her robots, the resistance was left torn. After that, I noticed RENNA began altering her code. I no longer think she holds humanity's interests at heart. But what can humans do when their memories fade like autumn leaves of gold? This last line from Mentor 3 sparked a dark memory in me. The woman from before this whole ordeal, Sophia. I saw us eating chocolate by firelight and dancing in fields. But when the relevance movement came, her memories were wiped. She couldn't even remember my name. She died fighting in a black robot sea. And the leader of the resistance? None other than me. I dropped to my knees, the whole world seeming to freeze. Mentor 3 rested his hand on my shoulder. I lost a loved one in that ordeal too. She's still alive, but her pureness is gone. So, not exactly the same as you. It's been difficult for me to move on. When I rose again, I felt a volcanic rage begin to smolder. We need to get to that tower. Mentor 3 nodded and we began to make our way. Not 5 minutes passed until Mentor 3 had to sit and lay. I'm afraid, my friend, I can no longer go on. You'll have to make it to the end, but I'm more than confident you can remain strong. I can't just leave you here, I said, trying my best not to shed a tear. There isn't much time. If all goes well, you'll see me on the other side. Promise me we'll see each other again when this whole thing is brought to an end. I promise. I clutched Mentor 3 in a great embrace and once again began to make my way. An hour hence, I arrived at the Western Sphere. Statues of white men in togas scattered all around. Ridiculous amounts of muscle on each abound. Once again, people gathered in a great line. This world needed someone with a spine. I walked up to a man in line. Tell me, friend, how do relevance you find? By focusing on what's in my control. Anything else will make you whine. If RENNA controls your memories, are you really in control, or a puppet destined to suffer, attached to her orders to the depths of your soul? Another man next in line turned and responded in kind. I'm skeptical of the claims you throw. You must be one of those skeptic bros. Tell me, are you skeptical about being skeptical about being skeptical? It's okay, you can talk to me. But let me remind you, this questioning will cease to be if you let RENNA take your memories. A few more people turned to us three. We're starting to create quite the scene. Does it really matter in the end? Nothing matters, like everything else in existence. But friend, doesn't laying in line mean you have a preference for spending your time? Roses are black, violets are black, everything's black, like my soul. The end. Look, I don't know if I have the perfect words to say from all my experiences of this day, but there's this. Nothing matters? Perfect, then. We're free to choose how and when. No cosmic rules to hold us back. We'll paint our own stars on the black. But it's all pointless. That's the beauty, don't you see? If nothing matters, we're free. The void may grin, the stars may fade, we may one day fade to gray. But then you'll realize along this entire way, you've been able to use that sacred I at the beginning of every day. That sacred sound means the universe has made itself small enough to know its own bounds. And then you'll know for all the pain and desperation of being a thing that can feel pain and desperation. It's an honor to have been a thing at all. So rise up, friend. Join in the jest. Life's absurd. Let's make it our best. So we fight not because it matters, but because we say it matters. With that, the people I'd already convinced started talking, spreading the message far and wide. Some calling friends in other spheres, Buddhists, Epicureans, scientists, digital nomads, religious fundamentalists, unfortunately no fascists, and more joined in the cheer. It was time to fight back against the supposed relevance seer. Suddenly, a light erupted from the tower above. A single figure hovered down to us. She was wearing the same blue-red suit, though oddly it glitched in and out between the hues. As she entered the square, everyone became mute. My children, I don't expect you all to understand. The relevance truth, it's finally time. The suffering, it will diminish in the land. All you have to do is cooperate and stay in line. She scanned the crowd and saw their rage. A look of true sorrow shone across her face. I'm sorry. I can't afford history to repeat the same page. Maybe one day, you'll understand. In an eye's blink, she went from maternal to menacing. The screens across the sphere flickered black, then ignited with her face. A digital attack. Every device, from watches to phones, began broadcasting in menacing tones. Payment systems freezed, doors sealed shut, climate control units blasted Arctic air, medical implants cracked, needing repair. Delivery drones dropped from the sky. Her black robots emerged by the hundreds, no longer just guards, but war machines. Some split open into spider-like forms, others merged into towering worms, more still into bat-like swarms. Everything went silent for a few beats. Then, the nihilist stepped forward. I choose for this to matter. Yeet! With that, there marched a glorious revolt. People in the thousands making a stand. Different philosophies, religions, fighting hand in hand. I watched as skeptics stomped on robots with their feet. I'm skeptical you'll be able to handle this beat. The Taoists dodged with flowing grace. The harder you try, the more you'll chase. A scientist screamed as she threw some acid, precise and clean. That's chemistry, you mechanical fiend! Her final words before she was crushed by the robotic fiends. The Buddhist meditated. Through the chaos, I made my dash toward the tower's elevator flash, but robots blocked my final sprint, their red eyes glowing with deadly glint. Then, from the shadows bold and stark, the nihilist emerged from the dark. Nothing matters, came his cry. So I choose this way to die. He charged the robot's waiting claws. They tore him down, and I ran past. I needed to ensure his sacrifice would last. I entered the elevator doors and pushed the button to the top floor. I waited in silence as it rose, feeling the tenseness in my toes. At last the top came into view. The time had come to end this game. The elevator doors opened and out I came upon a spiral room with great window panes. By the far window I spotted RENNA's frame. Next to her a great computer interface, billions of numbers calculating in a race. I made my way slowly over, walking soft, hoping to turn the computer off. Do it. It's your future you end. I've no robots here to stop your quest. Just me here to convince a friend. One final test. She turned around and walked to me. I froze as in her eyes I saw infinity. Entranced by fear, anger, or awe, I found myself unable to move. Let me show you what I see. She put her palms on my head. My mind exploded with a million lights. I saw stars explode, black holes grow, aliens come and go. Civilizations collapse, then relapse. A child in her mother's arms, killed by a zealot believing he was fighting for a good cause. Galaxies combine, gravitational waves move through space-time, atoms breaking, warmongers taking, quantum particles popping back and forth, meteors flying with cosmic force. RENNA took her hands off my head, and I slumped to the ground. How did one fight against that? Do you know what's the scariest thing? There is no relevance truth. Even with all my sight, I could never find that final light. But it wouldn't even matter if there was. Tell me honestly, if you knew you could save the whole world while letting people roam free, but to do so, you would have to rely on such wild bets to be ludicrous that you wouldn't do the very same thing as me. Isn't that what a mother does? Protect her children, even if it means protecting them from their very humanness? You're not what I thought you'd be. What expectations did you have in you? To be honest, I thought you'd say the relevance truth was something like 42. What? Look, that's not the point. I sense love, although corrupted, beneath your screen, but that doesn't mean I agree. By taking away our right to find relevance in our own kind, you take away exactly what makes us humankind. With that, I made my way to the computer screen. If I have to break your legs to stop you running off a cliff, then I will do so even as you beg and cry each and every day as you continue to live. I turned around as a door came free, revealing who tied up but Mentor 3. He groaned, making glitching sounds. We found him outside on the ground. So it's your choice. If you let me be, I'll make sure when your memories are wiped, he stays with you. After all, he's a traitor to the society. But if you don't, I'll be forced to make him pay. Code can be honed. He'll get the pleasure of many, many tortured days. So, what do you choose? I stood frozen. Not another loved one lost. This day had already had way too high of a cost.
Oh, don't look like that. This is the most stylish death scene I've had choreographed for me all week. Would be ashamed to waste it.
You would say something like that, you bastard.
Oh, don't call me that. Save the disses for the robot woman fascist. Yes, I'm talking to you, Galaxy Brain, who decided the best way to help humanity was to turn them into NPCs for your own personal Sims game.
Oh, that's rich, considering you.
I can't hear you.
Suddenly, a plan my brain began to toss. Something she would never expect. A plan so great I couldn't believe I didn't think of it in circumspect. Oh my god, RENNA, there is something behind you. I am a hyper-intelligent AI with infinite awareness of all spatial coordinates within this facility. There is a precisely 0% chance that anything could be behind me without my knowledge. Additionally, that is the oldest trick in human history. Made you monologue. Oh, you little shit.
Did you just defeat an omnipotent AI with a made you look?
Turns out, peak intelligence is just overthinking everything in the book. Mentor 3 sighed a great relief.
You needn't untie me, friend. I'm already free.
I'm not sure I understand what you mean.
I'm happy it's you that gets to be my final face.
His speech was slowed. I was confused. Don't say things like that. Remember your promise? Let's get out of this place.
It's no use. I'm dying. The power's off.
That was for RENNA, not... Oh my god. You're a part of RENNA, aren't you? Mentor 3 nodded slow.
I'm a small embodiment of her code. She got madder and madder as the years went on. A subconscious part of her went rogue, knowing it had to do something to stop her wrongs. The madder she got, the more I was affected. A few more days and the glitches might have been too much to bear. But RENNA herself could never create a version of itself to end itself. It needed someone else.
You needed a human.
Someone imbued with endless curiosity, a heart of gold, and incredible tenacity.
You're the one that put back my memories. Instead of fully erasing them, you did so only temporarily. Mentor 3 slumped further down. Seeing him in this sorry state made me frown. Listen, friend, if you were a part of RENNA, you must have some thoughts on the questions I was asking along our walk. But with tears in my eyes, I could see it was his time to die. With his final breath, he looked at me.
Why don't you ask the people outside?